you want to make sure they have one leg, one arm from the down the line view. Mike and I have always talked about how our better players always look like they have one leg and one arm, and all that means is that they're square and square. Think about it. If they're closed, well, you're going to see this look right here. If they're open, you're going to see this look right here. But when they're square, you shouldn't see my left leg. If you're square, you shouldn't see my left arm. Okay, it should just be, and that just means that everything is dead flush, dead square.
That was nice.
I mean, that was real nice. Real nice. Yeah, so I mean, anybody who's watching this lesson right now, get in the mirror. Make sure you have one leg, one arm when you look back and peek. You see any of this? Uh-oh, closed. You see any of this? Open. The forearms are a little bit open right now.
Okay.
And you could be a little bit more this way, kind of old school right here. I get in here and I kind of, almost this way actually, and just want to crank that like that. Mm-hmm. That's square right there, okay?
Okay. And is that a shoulder thing or a forearm thing?
Yeah, it's to me, you know where it, but it's actually to me stems from like right here. If you're in this position here, watch what happens. Little hip bump. Mm. If that hip bumps forward, the right shoulder drops a little bit and that right arm can relax a little bit more.
Okay.
So watch what happens from the face-on view. You see that? Mm. And to me, just bumping that hip forward will soften that right arm a little bit. And why that happens is, if we start off and the right shoulder's high, do you see this right here? Like watch what happens when I bump. See how it drops down a little bit?
Yeah. Like this?
That's literally it right there. Just a little tiny bump. Right arm just tucks back in a little bit. Yeah, if you're trying to square up your shoulders, by the way, and somebody goes, I see your left arm underneath your right arm like this, and the person's like, I can't do it. It's like awkward. It's like tightening your back up. Well, it's because it's happening from the hips. So it's your belt line and your shoulder line are matching. Does that make sense? So your feet are here, the hips are a hair open, right. The shoulders are a hair open. So if you square up the hips,
everything else goes.
Upper body squares up easier. Simple checkpoints I look for, you guys. Hips are over the ankles. It's good. He has that. Shoulders are tilted past the toes. See how it looks like he has one arm? Yeah. Okay? And open up a little bit, like open up the shoulders a little bit. See how like you can then start seeing his left arm get like underneath like that. Whenever you see that left arm underneath, that just tells me his shoulders are a little bit too open. So yeah, see now he has one arm there. The one arm shows me he's dead square. Yeah, like kind of like that. Here's the only thing I would say about this at all. What do you notice about your hips?
A little behind.
A little behind. So here's the big thing. Sitting back a hair, don't have as much space to play underneath us, swinging it, and you got to go around you a little bit to get to the ball.
Right.
Back the toes up, get a little bit more over it, square, and now you're going to have more space underneath you. I bet the next swing with just a little bit more space, a little more tilt, is going to come right down that forearm.
Because I guess if I think about it, like those last couple, it was a little bit like
back by the ankle,
yeah,
as opposed to more underneath the laces.
Yeah.
Ooh, this guy's like a human TrackMan though, you guys. Like you see the ball fly that square. Something tells me this one's gonna be a little better right here. Yeah, so look at this one. Unlike the last one, you were sitting back a little bit. Your hips are now aligned with your ankles. There's a little bit more tilt. Okay, we're gonna have the same beautiful takeaway. And then we're gonna see a little bit, yep, there you go. See that a little bit closer to on top of the forearm. See where it exits? You see that ball straight just right of your head out there? Those are really nice, buddy. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, when you're setting up, it's like, say this was like gonna be the midpoint of your feet, right? And I kind of like putting this on the ground to split the feet in half. If I had 50-50 to start with, and I tilt over, I'm feeling like 70% up here, 30% back here, with the majority of that weight just being right in the front of my laces right there, okay? And to me, if I do that and I stay plugged in with the arm right here, I'm gonna be square and I'm gonna be the perfect distance from the golf ball. And like I said, that gives me the space to be able to get my hands right back to where I started. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just start with a little bit of it back here, and that just puts you in a preset position to, not only lose your spine angle through impact a little bit, but to swing more around you on the way down. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked for checkpoints, okay? Now here's an easy checkpoint. Ready? If I have my arm, so I always say distance from the golf ball, for example, is a big part of it, right? If we're reaching too much, it's easy to get that look. So if I grip the club with my right hand exactly where I'd grip the club anyways, I don't plug into the middle of my body, the front. I don't go to the dead side, but I go to the midpoint. If I keep this arm on the midpoint and then just drop down, I'm always going to be square. If I'm set up in a way that forces that arm to come off the body, 100% I'm too open. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I can keep my arm on the body and then come straight down, and it's no problem to keep it there, there we go, I'm square. Here we go, grip it here, plug in, tilt over, keep it there as you set up, and now you're in a position to get it all done. The head cover drill.
Yeah.
This is not just what it does in your swing. I always tell the guys, I'm like, listen, you put the head cover underneath your arm. Yeah, I know it feels like the right elbow stays more tucked. It forces the body to turn to get the hands back there, but what changes in your setup? Every time that head cover gets in there, there's more of a connecting point there. It's definitely more pinched to the body than it is when it's not in there. Like if I didn't have the thing in there, it kind of would be like this.
Right.
But man, you put it in there and all of a sudden the arm gets to the body a little bit more. Well, that's why the motion gets better, right? So I like that a lot for you, feeling like there's a head cover right here. But you know what's cool? That's just starting your pre-shot routine.
Right.
You go right here. I saw you already doing it. You tuck.
You can feel it out.
Yeah, you can almost tuck it right here. That's what I used to do when I played, by the way. I tucked it right here. I'd walk in. That arm would already be connected. So I get my distance from the golf ball already like this. I already felt like I was square to begin with. I felt connected to begin with. I just want to remind you that I can still do it. You know what I mean? See how it looks like he has one arm? So that's perfect. I mean, it's like dead on the money right there. Look at that. There's your shot, buddy. There's your dead straight. The wind's coming out of the right. That ball is, cutting 6 inches, holding the wind. Okay, so I look at this. See the ball relative to his body's center? How it's ahead of his center of his body right there? That's big. So an 8-iron should be a little left of his sternum, right? Not very far left of it, but a good inch and a half left of it. Just means the ball position relative to his body's center is perfect.
I mean, that feels pretty good.
It looks great. People ask me this all the time, how much of it is set up?
A lot of the majority, I'd say.
I mean, I would go with almost 90%.
Yeah.
It very rarely boils down to the swing, and if there's something with the swing,
It
it stemmed from the setup. Exactly, exactly right. So let's take a look at this guy's setup to make sure everything's square, make sure the ball position's good. Longtime student, Adam Madison. I feel like this guy's my little brother. His family's practically my family. If you're ever wondering where those beautiful straight putt, no matter what training aids we have come from, it comes from Dad's factory. So, like I said, they're like family. I've been teaching this guy for a long time. And one of the best swings of any guy I work with, by far, of any player I work with. At Porzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.